Hello, folks. Okay, this is I'm Doug Pinkham with Pinkham and Associates. Sorry about that. And I am going to help you. This video is about the family law case cover sheet for the County of Los Angeles. This form is basically used for two purposes. One, to inform the county of what kind of case you have, and two, that the case belongs in LA County and which smaller jurisdictional courthouse that you decide to file at. So, for example, if you live in the city of Whittier, clearly the proper county would be LA County, but you can file at the Whittier court, and this will it'll ask for your address and whatnot, the information sufficient to be in that jurisdiction. So let's start at the top of this form. It asks at the top for your name and number. If you have an attorney, their name and number would go there, including their bar number off to the right. If you're watching this video, likely you don't have an attorney and you're filling out this paperwork on your own, so it would be your information on the top there. Then you see Superior Court of California, County of Los Angeles. Courthouse address. If you want to file this in downtown Los Angeles, you can use the 111 North Hill Street address. If you're going to file this in Whittier or Pomona or Long Beach, you want to put the courthouse address for the courthouse that you want to file this in. Could be in Lancaster. That's LA County up in Lancaster. You could do that. Then it asks for the petitioner's name. If you're the one that was filing for divorce or paternity action or whatever the case is, that's your name there. The other party that you're suing for divorce or paternity, their name, it goes under respondent. Off to the right is the case number. You likely do not have a case number because you need this form to be filed to get a case number. So you're not going to fill out the case number off to the right. That would be filled out by the clerk later. All right. So this case, this form is used to file a new family law case in the LA Superior Court. You can see right there it says this case cover sheet is required so that the court can assign your case to the correct district for filing and hearing. It satisfies the requirements for a certificate authorizing filing in the district as set forth in Los Angeles County Superior Court Rule 2.3 and 5.2. It must be completed and submitted to the court along with the original complaint or petition in all family law cases filed in any district of the LA Superior Court. All right. Let's move on. Consent to electronic notification. If you agree to receive information from the court via email, mark that box, put your email address down there and a cell phone number off to the right. If you do not agree to receive notice that way, don't mark the box and they will mail you notices from the court. Number two, address of petitioner. This is your address information if you are the one that's filing this case, and you likely are if you're watching this video. All right, so address of the respondent is number three. Put in their information, the other party. Put in their information there. Case information. If it's a marriage case, you're going to put the date of marriage, the date you guys got married. The next box is the date of separation. If it's a divorce case, your date of separation. Now, the date of separation under the law is that day that one of you told the other one, this marriage is over, don't intend to continue the marriage into the future, and you never got back together after that. If you broke up one time and then got back together and then broke up again and then got back together after that, it's your last date of separation is what goes in that box. Are there any minor children involved? If you guys have children, mark yes and write the number of children to the right. If there's no children, mark no. Parties agree to mediate. Now, if you believe that you and your spouse, or you and the father of your children or mother of your children, you and the other party, whoever they may be, are willing to mediate with regard to property and support, mark that box. Property only, mark that box. Support only, mark that box. Okay? Parties intend to proceed by default if you believe that the other side is not going to file a response. You can mark default. If you believe that they are going to file a response and you guys think that you're going to be able to work everything out and file an agreed upon judgment, that's a stipulated judgment and you'll want to mark that box. If you think that you are going to want to use a private, mediating attorney or judge, you can mark use of private dispute resolution judge. If you believe that you and the other party are going to work together with other experts, other attorneys, everybody together to try to figure out how to get this case done without going to court, you can mark collaborative law process. That's what that means. All right. The bottom of that first page says, do other parties need to be joined as an action to resolve this case? Yes or no? What that means is there somebody else that's not a party to the case, you or your spouse or you and the other parent of your child, is there some third party that needs to be joined to the case to get this case done? Say, for example, your spouse is self-employed and has a partner in the business. The partner in the business may need to be joined so that the court has the authority to make orders on that partner with regard to the business, the division of the business, assets or payments or income from the business. That might be the case. So you might have to mark yes there. If so, you need to put their name off to the right. That's not very common, but it could happen. Another very common one is if the other party has a pension plan, a STRS plan, a PERS plan. They work for the federal government. They work for, the county of Los Angeles, whatever. They're going to have a pension likely. And if they do, then you're going to need to join the company that manages the pension. Might be PERS, might be STRS, whatever. You're going to mark yes, and you're going to write that off to the right. All right, number 5, interpreter request. You're going to mark in there if an interpreter is needed. If you're watching this video, you're probably not going to need an interpreter. But if you only speak Spanish, if you only speak Tagalog, you only speak Cantonese, whatever it may be, and you need an interpreter, if you ever end up in court, then you're going to want to mark this and put the proper language in there. If it's no, you don't need an interpreter, mark no and leave the rest blank. Number 6, this is asking, this is a big box, this is asking for the district where you want the case assigned. So notice, okay, so let's get an idea what this chart looks like first of all. It's going to ask first what kind of case you have. Is it a dissolution, which is a divorce? Is it a nullity of marriage, annulment? Is it a legal separation? You're going to mark one of those boxes. If you have children, you're going to mark the box with children. If you don't have children with this party, with this person, you're going to mark without minor children. Now listen, you might have children with another party, but are divorcing somebody that you don't have children with. In that case, this is a dissolution without minor children because you don't have children with this person. Or is it a domestic partnership or is it a marriage? So you need to mark one of those boxes. So if it's a regular marriage that you're getting divorced from, you're going to mark that box. Off to the right, the only 2 boxes you can mark is that you want to put the case, you want the case to be heard in Central, at the Central District, which is downtown Los Angeles, 111 North Hill Street, you'd mark that box. Just check it. If you want the case to be heard in your local jurisdiction, say maybe Long Beach or Whittier or Lancaster, wherever it might be, Pomona, then you're going to want to mark the district where you want your case heard. My point is it's going to be in a different district. If you want it heard in a different district, you're going to mark an X in that box. You'll mark where at specifically below. So let's move on to Department of Child Support Services. If this is a Department of Child Support Services case and there was a summons and complaint filed, you're filing that, you're going to mark that box, and it would be marked only in the Central District. That's actually handled in a separate courthouse in downtown Los Angeles. Then DSU, Department of Child Support Services, statement registration of California support order, you're not going to be marking any of those boxes. If you are filing a petition for uniform support and that's all you're filing, then you're going to mark one of those boxes. If you're filing a statement, registration of out-of-state support order, that could be happening. So let's say you came from New York and you want to register a New York State child support case in Los Angeles. You're going to need to mark one of those boxes. Okay. Establish paternal relationships. So this is a paternity action. If you marked paternity, or excuse me, if you have a paternity case, you're not going to mark any of those boxes up top. The dissolution, the nullity, the legal separation, it's not one of those cases. So if it's a paternity action and you're filing a petition to establish a paternity, then you're going to mark one of these. If it's a regular paternity action, you're going to mark the first box and then, of course, pick the jurisdiction you want it in. If it's a special immigrant juvenile status case, you're going to mark that and you're going to mark one of those, off to one of the jurisdictions off to the right. If it's a petition to request a set-aside of voluntary declaration of paternity, that's a declaration that you signed at the birth of a child saying, yep, I'm dad. If you want to file a petition to set that aside, you're not the parent or you want to move to the court to get that request set aside, then you're going to mark that box and mark one of the jurisdictions off to the right. If this is a summary dissolution case, you're going to mark, which is where you're both working together. It's a very specific case. There's certain guidelines, certain legal requirements before you can file one of those. You'd want to look into that. If you are filing a summary dissolution, you're going to mark one of those boxes, whether it be a divorce or a domestic partnership case, a regular marriage or a domestic partnership case. And then, of course, the jurisdiction to the right. If it's a surrogacy case, you're going to mark that, and that can only be heard in downtown LA. So you only have one box to mark there. All right. Then, other family law cases. So if you're filing a petition with regard to custody and support of a minor child, you're going to mark that box. Registration of out-of-state custody order. So let's say you have a case from New York and it's a custody order. You're going to want to mark that box, and you're going to want to mark the jurisdiction to the right. Then we got the statements, paternity, guardian, grandparent rights, all kinds of other things there. If it's one of those cases, you're going to mark it, and you're going to pick one of those boxes to the right. Consent for a minor to get married below, before they're 18. That's what that case is about. And then restraining orders. If you're filing a restraining order case, you're going to want to mark one of those boxes. If it has children, it's the domestic violence prevention with minor children. If it's a domestic violence case without children, you're going to mark that box. And I want you to take notice that those can be heard at any court location. So they're done on an emergency basis. They're done quickly. You can bring those actions at any court case. So you mark that box far to the right. All right, page 3. Very simple. If you have children in your case, you're going to put the address where the children live under 7. In 8, this only applies to surrogacy case information, so you'll mark the box that applies there if you're dealing with a surrogacy case. Number 9, certification declaration of assignment. So that is where you need to mark the local jurisdiction where your case belongs. That you're going to want to look up on the internet. You can Google it. You can figure that out pretty easily. Any case anywhere in Los Angeles County can be heard at Central, but excuse me, but you have to be in the local jurisdiction for it to be heard at East or South or Northwest or wherever. So go ahead and look those up. And after you fill out that and check the box that applies, date it, and then sign to the right. And folks, that is the completion of this form. This form, again, is absolutely required anytime you're filing a family law case in the County of Los Angeles. This is a local form, but it's absolutely mandatory. You must fill this out along with your petitioner, summons, and whatever else you're filing. This one goes with it. All right, folks, I hope this video was very helpful to help you get through this form. Have a great day.